Hey everyone, so right here we have the Logitech Harmony 650 remote. It's the entry level excuse me, remote for Logitech with the screen right here. Basically this remote can do all your needs, basic needs. It can take up to 5 devices, and basically it's gonna replace most of the remotes you have. Now, differences between this and the 700 I saw were the 700 kind of had this black finish versus, kind of like the silver finish here, gray, whatever you want to call it. And it also takes up to 6 devices, and also it has the rechargeable batteries. This one doesn't. However, I will say, though, that the AA batteries I like a lot more. Just in case your batteries ever do go out, you can easily just change them versus having to charge the rechargeable battery just like the Harmony 1. I've heard that remote, lasts about a week and it just dies, and, sometimes you might not put it on the charger, forget to, and there you go, you're stuck without your little Harmony remote. So that's why I like this model too. Also, just, kind of a price point, it's extremely nice for just $50. Anyway, on to the features of it. You got your basic layout, like right here in the front, you got your watch TV, watch a movie, listen to music, and then your more activities where you can just cycle through them. And I guess that's the whole point of this. It's kind of nice. My watch a TV, I'd have it programmed to turn on my television and my receiver, and it changes my TV onto the right input and my receiver onto the right input. As watch a movie does the same thing. It turns my Blu-ray player on, TV, and receiver, and that, changes it to the right input. So that's basically the whole point of this remote. Very, very cool feature. As far as this remote goes, these are all basically, soft buttons up here. And these buttons kind of got a clicky, if you can hear it, like this little clicky feel, as the play, pause, volume, channel, page up, page down, and the select buttons right here have that clicky feel, which is nice because I do like that feeling, but at the same time, sometimes I like the soft buttons more. As far as, ease of program, I have a more complex system, so it took me around 2.5 hours to do, but I am very, very picky. I wanted each button to do a particular thing, and, for example, like right here, when I push devices, I got my different devices right here. For example, on my TV, I wanted these 4 to be in the front. I wanted the input button to change between them, the different picture and the wide mode. I had to have those in the front. And, it just takes a while to meet your preferences on what you want. You can customize this as you please and move them, And, so you got these activities right here, okay? You have 3, but you can just keep scrolling through them right here if you want to. Like, I got my PC even programmed on this remote. Yes, it can control your PC as well if you have the right infrared adapter. That one was probably the most difficult to program because I had this little cheap China Vision brand thing, but it just took a while. But eventually this remote can help, and there's always Google out there, and the community is really nice, and they'll help you out. And there's always Logitech support too if you need their help as well. Onward to, what else? It can, like, some things about this remote. It's got some nice weight to it. I'd probably compare it to, like a couple of index card bundles or something like that. Maybe a solid, half pound or something like that. It's very ergonomic. You can definitely see that it kind of has a swerve, and when you hold it in your hand like this, most of the things on the way that's on the back for your commonly used buttons from the top arrow down, which is right here down. These buttons up here hardly get used, but you do use the screen a lot, so I will say that. And it's got this like plastic matte finish on the back. You can kind of even hear it a little bit right there. The front is glossy. Kind of fingerprinty, nothing too bad like the Harmony one, which is, another reason why I did not want to buy that remote. It's just the fingerprint magnet, it kills me. I just can't stand it. But on to the number one bad thing I did see about this remote, and I did see a lot of people complain about it, was the battery compartment. Right here, you can see, let me just zoom in close. Notice the battery terminal. It's not a spring, it's kind of this piece of metal that's just kind of bent. I mean, the remote has a very high quality feel to it, and you know, they just kind of cheaped out right there. I mean, but what happened was the battery, it just doesn't fit too snug. I mean, that was in. I don't know if any of you heard it. I'll put in the other battery right now, but I mean, it's not in now, but let's see if you can hear it. I mean, it is a little bit of snugness, but I feel like over time it'll definitely wear out, and my guess is these little terminals, you know, lose contact with the battery, and people say the remote resets, and I mean, I did just take out the batteries right now, and my remote doesn't reset when I take out the batteries, but I don't know if it's because I do it quick enough, but either way, I mean, this would have been nice for them to put some spring terminals. Now, I did hear some, you know, little ghetto rigs where people took toilet paper and, you know, crinkled it and shoved it right here to keep them down from moving, and, you know, I mean, makes sense, so there's always that in case I need to, in case it does do it in the future. But, I mean, other than that, it's a very solid remote. Highly recommended, especially at the price of $50. I would have paid even $80 for this thing. I mean, it's got the USB right there to connect to your computer, which makes, you know, the syncing super easy for your, between your remote and the computer, instead of, you know, you sitting there trying to figure out how to program the sucker. And also right here, if you notice, I can't see if the camera, there's another little infrared thing here, and that's a little spot where it learns from other remotes. Sometimes you get a remote and it doesn't, or I mean, you try to program the remote in the stock features that Logitech has on there. It doesn't have some functions. For example, my CD player, it has numbers 1 through 10, and it didn't have it on there, so I had to program it like one by one. It didn't take too long. Like on the program, I just said, okay, I want to program 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just went there one by one. It's like press number 1 on your remote, press number 2, press number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And with that, it was able to learn from the other remote the functions. And, you know, if you guys are looking for the universal remotes, don't hesitate to get it. I mean, you always have the warranty with Logitech just in case the battery problem becomes a super issue, which not too bad, but either way, it's not expensive enough to hurt you. It's only $50. I mean, especially for what it does. So, I mean, let's show you guys how it actually works. I mean, I'll give you a little example here, and, you know, turn on my Blu-ray player, TV, and receiver, or have the remote do it. So, let's go to the TV, and I'll show you. Okay, before we test this remote out, I did want to show you guys one thing about this remote that is pretty cool. And you know how I told you about your activities? Well, there's two separate kind of functions in this remote. You have something called activities and something called devices. Right now, this is the activity screen. Oh, yeah, I'm kind of happy this remote did that. I'm sorry to go off track, people, but this remote, when you leave it on, you know, down for a while, it'll shut the screen off, and it has this little accelerometer. When you pick it up, the screen turns right back on, as a side note. But beyond that, you have your activities and your devices. Your activities, like I told you, are the kind of the macros functions where it turns on a bunch of things at once, and within the activity you get your controls. For example, if I had my watch a movie, I'm in the activity of watch a movie, and the main controller is the Blu-ray player. So on my screen I would have like most of my Blu-ray functions. However, you can customize this as you please. You can have like your Blu-ray, like you can have this button to be menu, this button, you know, to be audio, but then you can also have like this button to control theater. Like I know Sony televisions have this button called theater mode, where it flicks between your standard picture and your cinema picture mode. And, you know, you can also control the separate devices within your activity, like the button I just did. Devices, right there, and there's a list of my devices right here. And you can rename these on the computer when you're programming as you want. This was originally called just Blu-ray, so I called it Sony Blu-ray, be a little more specific. This was called Audio Video Receiver, so I called it Onkyo TX-SV727, which is the model. So I just want to let you guys know that within an activity, you can just change it. You can control separate devices within that activity. So onward to testing this remote out. I'm just going to show you the watch a movie function. So here's the movie button, and I got the Blu-ray player and the receiver and the TV, and let's start it out. You push the button and it's going to say keep the remote pointed at the devices, and I don't know if you guys saw that the TV turned on, the receiver went on, and the Blu-ray player went on, and then the TV just changed the input to the BD input. So presto, yay! Basically that's the macros function. And it can also do this in reverse. If you want to turn off all your functions, you just push this button right here where it says all off, and it'll turn my TV and my Blu-ray player and my receiver off. Now, one cool thing you guys have to know is when you're flicking between your activities, let's say I'm watching a movie right now. This is true. Now, let's say I want to listen to the radio. I'll go to my receiver here. Okay? Obviously, these three devices are on. So let's go to my remote, go through, let's say, more activities right here. And you see how I have the listen to radio right there? Now when I point it, I'm going to push the button, and it turned off the Blu-ray player and the receiver. And it changed the receiver into the radio band. So it'll take care of everything for you. If you're within an activity and want to do another activity, it'll change it up for you. And that's the best way I can put it. Here's another example. Let's just watch TV. It'll turn my TV back on, and it changed the receiver input to video 1, the television, and the TV will turn on, and boom. And then when you're completely done, the all off button, you push that once, and everything turns off. So that's a little bit of the function for you, and I hope you guys got something out of this review. Sorry if it was a little long for some people, but I hope you guys take a lot of knowledge out of this, and I hope I helped you out, and best of luck to everybody out there. Thank you.